that I could ever do was shut out the noise. And that's across the board. So whether you're colored, whether you're talented, whether you have something that's very important for you to do, the most important thing you can ever do is shut out the noise, because you're already going to have the rest of the world putting you on a pedestal, knocking you off that same pedestal tomorrow. The most important thing you can do and the most conversation you'll ever have is the one that you have with yourself. So for me, how I overcame that was literally constant like affirmations about myself, constant journaling. Journaling is so powerful. People do not journal enough because there's some things that you can't say out loud to anyone else besides yourself and God. And for me, what I did was I didn't allow someone else's report card of me to become my reality. People are going to tell you that you can't, and that's one thing that we all talk about is like on social media, and we're doing things like this, or when we're like, I guess on the news or whatever it is, I don't ever look at the comment section. I never look at the comment section. The comment section is none of your business, because people are gonna be like, yeah, you're so beautiful, you're so talented, oh my God, amazing, amazing. And then there'll be one person, that's like, oh my God, what a horrible choice as a wife. And they're like, oh, and your entire day is shifted by somebody's one opinion. So I'm telling you, if you could start now, I wish I would have told my 15, 16-year-old self to hush out and like literally just mute everybody else and focus on the conversations that I have with myself and the things that I know to be true about myself versus somebody else's opinion of me. So that's the most important thing you can do in life, whatever you're doing, period. So yeah, that's one.
Yes, thank you. That was a wonderful question. An answer, I'm sorry. So now that things are opening back up, what are some things that you learned during this time of quarantine that you plan to continue as we are venturing out into the world more?
That my life is in my hands, my career, my purpose, I used to wait around for auditions, right? I used to be like, I just got to get in the room. Somebody get me in the room. And working on such a big production as Law and Order, we would have 16, 17-hour days. They change the director like every episode, so you don't get used to anyone. And I realized in maybe observing some people, I'm like, wow, these are the people that I was waiting for. That's crazy. And it's very interesting when you realize that how human and how not different the people that you look up to are on TV. Like Dylan and Chris, Tamara, like they are the coolest. Like I can't even tell you how cool these people are. They're so chill. But when you realize that there's no difference between you and the person that's hiring you, it equips you to start making a way for yourself, because that's the same thing that they did. So waiting around for someone to hire you, waiting around for someone to give you an opportunity. It will happen. You will definitely get opportunities and stuff like that. But the most important thing I learned was it is in my hands to pave the way for myself. It's very important to make sure you take control of your life and don't wait for someone else to make your choices for you.
How many ladies did you have?
Sorry, Mr. Coleman, we were.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, wait, sorry.
Oh no,
Stanley.
Yeah, jumped out, so we just kept going.
No. Go right ahead.
All right, I have one more. So what are some other dreams or aspirations that you have that may not necessarily be tied to your career? And okay, let me figure this one out. So what are some other dreams and aspirations that you have that may not be tied to your career? And does your schedule kind of get in the way of reaching your personal dreams?
Yes. So something I have quite a few things that I would like to do. Something that's not necessarily tied to my career would be my career in fitness. I love working out. It is an obsession of mine. I have my own company. It's virtual. It's a very small, intimate group. However, when you are working, you are literally working like 17, 18 hours a day. That's a real thing. And they call you 2 days before and tell you this is the time that you got to come. So that's not enough time to give your clients to say, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it. Also, I have a very strong love for art. I like to paint a lot. I'm very into the arts. So I would like to paint and like showcase my art in a gallery one day, but I just haven't necessarily had the time. I do have a 5-year-old as well. So it's just like sometimes there are some things that may have to be put on pause, because it's not that it won't happen, it's just not yet, because you have to prioritize what's more important, what's the end goal, like what's the most important thing that you would like to take care of, and that's the thing you focus on. So like even with acting, most actors only act, they don't have a plan B. Most people have a plan B, usually never get as far as they need to, because they are too double-minded. There's not enough structure in one area, not enough commitment and like consistency in one area, because you're doing two things at the same time. So that's why you get that saying of jack of all trades, master of none. So it's important to have one focus, one mastery, and all the other stuff. We have a long break before season 2. Like we have 2 months off. That's what I'm doing now, focusing on the fitness and focusing on VR. And it'll make time for it eventually. You just have to kind of prioritize.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I am applying some of what you said to my own personal life.
Love it.
Yeah, that's Professor Frank over at William W. Carter School of Excellence. She has 35 student scholars on the two-way Google Hangout. So they're in the house.
Okay.
How many ladies did you audition against for the role of Pilar Wheatley on NBC's Law and Order, Organized Crime, and
Hundreds.
Hundreds?
I actually knew a few of them. It's funny. At least 2 or 3 of them were, 2 were friends and one was an associate. I was like, I auditioned for that. And I was like, sorry. But yeah, it was hundreds. And the funny thing about this audition, and this is why it's so important to be organized, is I literally missed the audition. And then they called, oh wait, you all froze. So I don't know if you're still there. Okay, there you go. I literally missed the audition. I thought that the day was Sunday when indeed it was Monday. I was very busy with like other friends and busy about things that were not important. And I was gonna wait till the last minute to do my tape, my send-in tape. And then they called my manager and they was like, do we have Shauna Harley's tape? And I was like, what do you mean? That's not due to tomorrow at 6. And they're like, it's today at 6 and right now it's 7 o'clock. So I was like, oh, I need to do that right now. So when something is for you, that I tell you, I mean, by the grace of God, I got this part because I literally missed the audition by being busy about things that were not important. And that's a lesson in itself. So yeah, it was a few hundreds that with these kinds of productions, there's so many ladies that get called in, so many tapes that get sent out, and you just have to hope that, this one's for you.
Yeah, definitely. What is it like? I think I might have missed this question, but what is it like working with the legendary Dylan McDermott and Christopher Maloney? And was you shocked initially of how dark and evil your TV husband turned out to be? He is dark and evil. He is frightening.
Well, he is very dark and evil on this series. But in real life, Dylan, I would say I was pleasantly shocked. Because you look him up and he has so many versatile roles, you don't really get a gauge of what his personality is. But he's hilarious. He's very funny. He raps and freestyles a lot, which keeps things very entertaining on set. Picture Dylan just busting out a freestyle. That happens often. Chris is a huge clown. He jokes a lot on set. So they're both just very funny in different ways. And the women of Law and Order, like Tamara Taylor,
oh yeah,
and the beautiful Danielle Monet Truitt, who played. I mean, these women, I am just so blessed to have been on set with them because they are just truly something. So it's very good with chemistry, and also with Chaz Palminteri. I didn't know that I'd be working with him on the first day. So when I saw him, I was like, oh wow, this is like Bronx Tale. I don't know if you guys
he's phenomenal.
Know about that. Yeah, so it's all very cool, very fun.
Who was your favorite teacher growing up as a kid that helped motivate?
I didn't, so this might be a shock, and I may not say this out loud, but I'm going to. In high school, it was very bad. I was a very bad child. So I didn't really,
I
like, I
don't
was
believe
smart,
that.
but I was still just getting into a lot of trouble. I that's good. But I didn't necessarily have a favorite teacher. I had a favorite dean. Dean Harris was his name. And he was a pastor and a dean. And we used to find him so annoying because he would be the person that would, if you ever did anything bad, he'd be the first one to catch you. Like he was just like a military, very like disciplined gentleman. And as a child, you don't want anyone that like quick on their feet, paying attention to all your little sneaky moves. So he would talk to us. He would like, speak on to us like, achievers, you're better than this. Achievers, you got to do this. Achievers, achievers. And it wasn't until I grew up that I actually learned to appreciate all the um, power of all of his words that he would say to us on a consistent basis. So I would say that Dean Harris, even though he was probably the hardest person on me, and suspended me like literally every other week, I appreciate him so much because he literally saw our potential, especially mine, because we had so many conversations and so many talks about how I'm living beneath my purpose. And it was so true. And as I get older, his words still stick with me. Like some of the conversations and the talks we had, they still stick with me very heavily. So if you ever have a teacher that's riding you, demanding greatness, demanding you to do more than mediocre work, I mean, fall in love and listen to that teacher. The person that usually challenges you the most is usually the person that cares the most. So I would say Dean Harris surpassed everyone. And back then, he was the most annoying man ever. Like I could not stand when he would come to my class. I was like, this man just does not leave. But he literally is amazing. I hope to find him one day and thank him.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. What was it like to be recognized as a role model to so many young ladies, all over the world? As I alluded to at the top, you have a broad fan base in Chicago, and I think you've only been here once, so you probably don't even know that. So,
Yeah.
what is it like to be
I had no
considered
idea.
a role model?
It's actually kind of cool because when I was younger, I didn't have anyone that I looked up to. I didn't have anyone that I necessarily felt was tangible enough, human enough, to actually speak back to us. So for me, it's really cool, especially because, I mean, it wasn't that long ago being 15 for me. And I remember what it's like being 15, being insecure, doubting yourself. I didn't go after acting until I was like 25 because I don't know if you can tell, but so I have a cleft palate and a cleft lip. And it used to make me feel very awkward in high school because kids are not necessarily the nicest always. But I would get made fun of in junior high school, not high school, because I was really very stylish. So they grew out of those little jokes when we got to high school. But it's interesting now actually having a dream back then that you can't touch. It seems so unreal and so far-fetched. And everyone tells you probably shouldn't go after it. To now be a grown woman living and walking in that dream. So for me, it is amazing and shocking that people are actually looking up and looking at me as a role model, because for me, there's no difference between the people who were watching the Zoom and myself, because I was once in your space wanting something that I didn't have. And I remember I used to work in Times Square in the city and be like, one day I want to be on that billboard, just one day, just a girl with a dream, just a girl literally looking up, wanting something, not having a family member, a friend, a teacher, anyone who's in that direction. Everyone around you usually puts their limits on you. That's one thing to remember. They usually tell you what they feel like is as far as they can go. So that's why you have to hush out all the chatter. But to actually have been earlier in this year on a billboard with John was like, wow, that's crazy. I remember when I was like, man, I really wish I'd be on that billboard, not knowing that it would actually happen. So the power of what you listen to, what you look at, what you set your mind on is really how far you go. So as a role model to some of these people on the Zoom, I would say, look at your 5 friends, the people you hold closest to you, 5, 3, 2, 1, whoever. You're going to go as far as the people you keep around you. You can never go further than the people you keep around you. Hi. So just make sure that you remember, if you're keeping people around who are negative, who are just gossipy, lazy, have no ambitions besides Instagram, because Instagram is not where you become a star. Not the star that you'd like to be if you're looking for acting. Uh, Change up your circle. And it's okay to be alone for a while. It's okay to have one really good friend, a quality friend, because your circle really does determine how far you go. So I had to consistently change my circle. And I have one friend that I've been friends with for about 23 years now. And she's the only friend that I've had that long, because we consistently push each other to grow. So to be a role model, in short of it, is so awesome. And I'm so honored that you guys even consider me. Thank you.
Oh no, thank you. And you must be a mind reader, because I was just going to ask you that. Like, at what point, how can you determine a real friend from a non-supportive friend? Because that is definitely, especially at the high school level, a very prevalent um, dichotomy that students and young ladies are going through as they navigate through high school and transitioning to college. So what was your process like in your process of elimination and determining your circle of friends who was going to be around you?
My process, it grew as I grew. So one thing that I always have, and I started at age 15, was a relationship with God, right? So I don't know if we're allowed to talk about that in school, but hey, so my first thing was definitely my relationship with God, because a lot of times we consistently think it's our job to change. Like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. There's 10 ways. You read all these self-help books, or you get all these like videos, and you hear about all these people who are doing all these things, and you get like a pamphlet of what you think it is to change. The most important thing I ever did was submit to that inner voice. So we all have an inner voice that we hear, but no one else hears. A lot of us call it conscious. Some of us call it our thoughts. Some of us call it whatever. I don't know what you call it, but there's an inner voice that's always talking, telling you to do the right thing. Even when you're doing the wrong thing, that voice is like, that's probably not what you should do. It's like that voice that's nagging at you. I think you should probably get up and clean your room. You should probably do your laundry. You should probably audition for this. You should probably get this done now and have more time later, right? So that inner voice was the first step, because the inner voice is the thing that brings you the most peace, right? So that's your biggest and your best advocate for life, is the voice that brings you the most peace. Second, any friend that would ever be upset when I won, or jealous, or try to hold, like, because you're going to have friends at certain levels of your life, right? So if I had a friend that maybe 2 years ago we started being friends, and then 2 years later they're still holding me hostage to who they met, right? Because as we wake up every day, we have new skin cells and everything. We're growing, we're changing on a consistent basis. So if there's ever someone who would oh, you can't do this, or you can't do that, putting limits on me, that's the kind of friends you don't want. You don't want anyone putting limits on you. You only want friends that are edifying and lifting you up, telling you how great you are, your biggest cheerleaders. Your friends are supposed to be your biggest cheerleaders. Second, well, I guess third, would be just, people say a lot of things, but also look at their actions. If your friends are not really motivated, not really doing anything with their lives, they don't have any aspirations, they only want to be cool on Instagram, but in real life, they're struggling. It's you got to look at the character of these people. And the most important thing that I did was release myself from that loyalty crap that we're taught. I got to be loyal. That's my friend. No, you don't. The only person you have to be loyal to is the person that you have to live with. And if there's a person that's not necessarily pouring and adding into your life, sharing for you, clapping, and just making sure that you're good, and regardless if they're losing, they're so happy that you won. Those are the kind of friends that you want. If they're not getting anything done, if you're in the same field and you're striving. I have a friend who's so talented as well, but she hasn't gotten her moment yet, right? but she is the first one at all of my events, the first one to watch any episode or anything that I'm in. She's cheering me on and screaming for me. So people who are proud of you regardless and happy for you regardless of what they're going through, that tells you what a real friend is. And a person who is going to constantly inspire you and lift you up in your time of trouble. Oh, sorry, one more that's really important. You can always tell somebody who somebody is in a bad circumstance. I don't judge my friends off of we happy, we live in YOLO. No, I don't judge any of my friends on good times. I judge all of my friends about how they act when we're having a conflict, how they act when we're upset with something, how they act when things are not going well, because that tells you who they truly are. When people show you who they are, like Maya Angelou said, believe them. That is the best thing you could ever do. Don't try to change them. No, I believe that you're selfish. I believe that you're a liar. I believe you, and that's why I'm gonna leave you right where you are. You'll get better friends, I promise. Next question.
Was there ever a time that you wanted to quit?
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. So one thing about any dream, especially acting, every actor goes through it, is failure. I failed so many times on auditions because I was nervous, or maybe not having my lines together, or maybe being sick. And there's been so many different routes of failure, but failure, I think, sometimes gets a bad reputation. Failure is not a bad thing. Failure is a beautiful thing because failure means you're actually trying. You're actually applying a different part of yourself. It's new, it's uncomfortable. If you're comfortable, you're probably not challenging yourself, right? So for me, there's so many times that I wanted to fail, but the real actors, people who are truly in it for the sport of it, truly in for the love of it, those are the ones who make a friend of failure. And no matter how many times they fall, they just get right back up and they keep going. Resilience, man, you gotta keep going. That's gonna be the thing that sets you apart from everybody else. Oh, you are so pretty. Hi.
Hi, thank you. What age did you start to audition and stuff? Because you said you was doubting yourself. So what age did you stop
Wait, I'm sorry. Say that one. What age did I stop? What?
doubting yourself?
Oh, what age did I stop doubting myself? Honestly, I would say it doesn't really go away, doubt. Any adult that tells you that they're so sure and absolute about anything, it's probably lying to you. The age that I decided to stop listening to everyone else, though, and start going after the thing that I know that I wanted, that it didn't seem, because I didn't go after acting because I was like, there's no other actresses with cleft palates. I don't see anyone who looks like me. It's not possible, right? And I also started out in modeling, which was another thing, but I would say at age 20, 22 is when I actually started going after what I wanted for myself. And even though I was scared and even though I was afraid of failing, I just did it. And I said, because the thing is, you're going to fail anyway. You're all going to fail. That sounds horrible. I shouldn't tell you that. You're going to fail at something. And you're going to fail at something that you hate and you don't want to do. And it's like a 9 to 5 that makes good money. And you're going to wake up one day and you'll be like 75, like, man, where'd my life go? Or you're going to fail at something that you love and wake up one day being so happy that you applied yourself to something that you know that you want to do. From this right now, people look at you like you're a child, like, oh, those kids. No. You're a young adult. And what you want now, what you're dreaming of now is so relevant. Don't let anyone deter you from the first thing that you aspire to be.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, gorgeous.
Do you, where did you inherit your monster work ethic from? One reason why Chicago youth admires you is just in all of the projects that you associate yourself with. You don't allow yourself to be outworked, out hustled, out competed by the next person. So where did you inherit your monster work ethic from?
I inherited that from my mom. My mom was a single parent of 3. She had 3 or 4 jobs at a time, one being the police department as well. And even that wasn't enough to take care of all the bills that we needed. We lived in New York, and New York is not cheap. And I also got that from my aunt Brenda, who was a dancer. They both were in the arts growing up.
You come to Chicago, Kaylin, and Rashad, since you guys asked a question. Well, thank you so much. My class is about to leave. Sorry.
Oh, that's the bell. I was like, what is that sound?
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Oh yeah. Oh, you can continue with the question.
Oh, okay. I was like, is it over? I don't.
Yeah. We
I
still have about 5 more minutes.
No, we're good. I'm in no rush. But I got it from my mom because she was like, both her and my aunt Brenda were, my aunt was a dancer. She toured all around Italy, dancing for this dance company back then. And then my mom was a model, and my mom got all these awards for being a Black model. And back then, it wasn't as popular for Black women to be in the front. Black women were usually in the background, kind of, and a once in a blue moon thing. So being a model and a dancer wasn't a thing. But they consistently stay consistent, and they have so much attributes to speak to that hard work. But to see my mom raise not only us, but like family members who needed housing, and like people, like she took a lot of my friends in who had really broken homes and stuff like that, all while working 4 jobs. That was my inspiration. And I said, you know what, if they didn't make it as far as they wanted to, the least I could do is do it for them. So I got all that from them.
Oh wow. What we have like 2 more questions. We can keep you on here all day, but I know you have a busy schedule. And then, but definitely, if time permits for you, definitely let us know when you're able to come to Chicago, and we'll set it up for sure.
Let me put my email. We'll email each other and figure that out.
Yep. You can put it in the chat, and then we'll coordinate it accordingly for sure. What was I gonna say?
Okay.
What are, and I always ask this for all the guests, what are 5 songs that are in your current playlist? Like when you're getting ready to go set, or getting ready for a table read, or for an audition, even. What are 5 songs that are in your playlist to get you in the mood?
It varies. It really does. I can go from Corinne Hawthorne, Speak to Me, which is a gospel song, all the way to like Meg Thee Stallion, Savage. It really depends on what I'm called for. I listen to a lot of Leanne LaHa's. Paper Thin is one of my favorites. Kanye West is definitely on my list on a daily basis because he has so many hits that are just like, I need that right now. So it really depends on my mood. And if I'm calling for some calm energy or some energy where I really need to pull in to that like tunnel vision Savage that I need to like do a part or something. So it varies.
Okay, absolutely. What surprises, sneak surprises, expecting season 2 of NBC's on order, organized crime? It'll be our secret because I don't want your husband. I'm scared of your husband. I don't want. I don't
listen.
to come at a brother, so I'll keep it.
He's actually he's pretty bad. He's pretty bad on there. But I would love to tell you, but there's a beautiful non-disclosure agreement that keeps my mouth shut. So I can't say anything. You just have to watch. We're coming back in September. You gotta watch. You know?
And here in Chicago, we've been watching religiously. That has even been some of our homework assignments. So watch every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Chicago time. Oh, go ahead.
That's so cool.
Yeah, 9 p.m. Chicago time.
That's so cool.
And I believe it's going to continue to air even the reruns throughout the summer at that same time, Thursday at 9. So we've been, we've been very supportive of organized crime on NBC every Thursday nights, 9 p.m. And we'll continue to watch because it is riveting, each and every episode.
Oh, thank you so much. I hope so. I really, really hope that you guys keep watching because it's really, really very good. It's very unlike anything they've ever done. So definitely watch. There's some really fun stuff coming up. Wink, wink.
Yeah. So on behalf of SCJR Educational Initiative here in the South Side of Chicago, William W. Carter School of Excellence, there you see Professor Franklin in the house, juggling five different
Hey,
duties and responsibilities all at the same time.
girl,
That's a Wonder Woman right there. Martin Luther King College
seriously.
Prep High School Performing Arts Program. They have a marching band performance awaiting you upon your visit this summer, Miss Harley.
Yeah, I'm coming. I will because you guys have been so great. I got to see this performance. So I will definitely be there.
Okay. Well, I'll circle back. I have your email, I believe. So I'll circle back with all of the details this summer. We have some phenomenal music festivals, Lollapalooza coming up. So I'll send you all the details, and hopefully in July or August you can come to Chicago.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I'll definitely make it a thing. And we'll lock in a date because what happens when we start shooting is we get blacked out. We